honestly, just saying it, I'm like, why are we not here holding Frios Pops right now?
A simple thing. It's selling a fantastic gourmet popsicle. What I
And
was looking
everybody's happy.
for.
You're selling smiles,
Exactly.
basically.
Gourmet
Yeah.
Pops in the United States as of 2024, $8.7 billion industry.
So however much time you put in probably equates what you get back.
It's pretty simple where obviously a restaurant is a multi-million-dollar process, and this is the simplicity and the cost was appealing.
Welcome to Built4Profit Podcast, where entrepreneurs share real stories and strategies that actually work.
We're here to inspire, challenge, and give you the playbook to profit with purpose. Let's get into it.
Let's do it.
Today, we've got a lifelong franchisee on the podcast, and we're talking about someone who has owned more than one franchise. And as we found out, one of the oldest franchises.
There you go.
So we're going to hear that from Matt Collins, who is now with Frios Gourmet Pops, Metro Jackson area. And honestly, just saying it, I'm like, why are we not here holding Frios Pops right now? This should be a taste testing podcast at the same time. But Matt, thank you so much. Welcome to the Built4Profit
welcome,
Yeah,
podcast.
thanks for having me.
And dare we say, can we call you a serial?
I mean, that fits, I guess.
franchisee?
Yeah, that could work.
I think once you're past one, it qualifies. And when you've hit three and multi-generation.
Yeah. I mean, you're third generation franchisee right here. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about how you got here today. So talk about the franchise that you're currently in.
Frios Gourmet Pops. We got on board with them first of the year. Took a little time to go through the process to get started. Really started selling first of the summer. So I've been in it, 3 or 4 or 5 months now. And it's been a fantastic brand. Coming from my previous world, which we'll talk about in a little bit, I think, but the simplicity of what this is, it's all mobile, which was good, but there's also multiple streams of income, which you think of a mobile, it's all events and things like that, which we can do a lot of that, but there's a wholesale aspect. There's a birthday party, just cooler drop-offs. People could order 20 of this popsicle and we could put it in a cooler and send it, deliver it to you within our local areas. I got mobile carts, which we can do indoor events, I can do outdoor events. So just the diversity of the options with this was really attractive. A simple thing. It's selling a fantastic gourmet popsicle.
And everybody's happy. You're selling smiles,
Exactly.
basically.
So let's talk about that a little bit because you have a long history of, I would say, brick-and-mortar
Right.
franchises. Wendy's for a significant period
Yes.
of time, and it's like you're a third generation in that. So how did you go from, can I just say burgers and fries and deli sandwiches?
Yeah.
So how did you make this transition to a mobile franchise?
Just going back to my history, it's a third generation Wendy's. This started with my grandfather. He opened the first Wendy's in Mississippi in 1975. He met Dave. He was a serial entrepreneur himself. He had gas stations. He had a jukebox entertainment company where he sold jukeboxes to places back when that was a thing and got into restaurants. From what I've been told, he met Dave Thomas on some traveling business trip he was in and hey, I've got this brand named Wendy's, which at the time was a huge risk. Wendy's was very new in franchising, was not an established brand. He took a gamble. He had 2 partners, put it in Mississippi in 1975 and did well with it. So growing up as a kid, visiting them was in the restaurants. So they had a sit-down restaurant in the small town they lived in. And I have vivid memories of going in there and just playing in the kitchen. And just when we go to visit, that's where we went. So I've always grown up in the restaurants. And then he sold those about 10 years later. And then my dad, who had graduated college and was working with him, decided that I want to do my own franchise. So he started that in 1986. And I, again, grew up in the kitchens there. I have pictures when I could barely reach the counter and pouring drinks and things like that. And then working summers when I was too young to work because that's just what you did in a family business. And then eventually going to college for business management and knowing all on that's what I wanted to do. I really enjoyed the restaurant world. I enjoyed the business, the fast pace of that. And it was a fun business. It was much simpler back then than it is now, for sure. It was, like I said, a family business. I have a brother that helped start in that too. So it was 3 of us running the Wendy's for a long time and then decided, hey, this is going great. What if we added something else? With Nuke's Eatery being a local brand, they reached out to us and were interested in us growing because they were looking to grow. And then we picked up the central Alabama with Montgomery and Auburn and over into Columbus, Georgia and Dothan. So we had 5 units, ended up with 4. We had closed 1 during COVID because things were crazy in COVID. So ended up with 14 total restaurants between the Wendy's and Nuke's that I ran. When I got out of college, I was an assistant manager in Wendy's making next to nothing. And then working my way through learning learning the business and then eventually running the whole thing. So it was definitely a progression.
Yeah. I'm interested, Matt, in how you then decided to transition into the mobile franchise. Like what sparked that? Because it is different. out
Yeah.
there.
Family business is great. It's got its challenges, and dad was looking to retire. Brother had already gotten out. So it was me doing a lot of it. And then the decision point of, all right, we've got a chance. We've got some interest from a larger franchisee that we've known in Wendy's forever that has over 200 units and still growing strong. I was looking to maybe do something different. It all worked out to where we had buyers. We had a chance to do that. I wanted something in the food world, but also much simpler than what I have been doing, because being a small business, I was HR. I mean, we had such a small staff that you kind of do everything in that world, and it wears you down after a while.
So do you actually work on the truck, Matt? Do you go and do the events? And
Yes.
serve the pops?
Being just starting, it's me. I've got some older kids that help, but yeah, I'm doing it my own just to build. I guess with franchise, the tools are there, but the name recognition is not. So that's really the work of it, is getting out there and promoting yourself. Doing school events has been great, and just growing the brand and the recognition of what you are, and that you're out there and you're a new option for parties and football games and all kind of stuff. So that's really a lot of what the work is with this, is growing that recognition.
So what's your best moment so far on the truck? Something that you went, this is really cool.
Yes, it's just fun seeing people come up with, we're new. There's not a gourmet pops. We had a brick and mortar store here years ago that closed during COVID. So people knew the concept a little bit, but hadn't had one in a long time. And just people coming up, and kids come up, and of course they want a popsicle, but adults are not really sure. Popsicle sounds good. I'm adult. I don't eat popsicles, but then they try a key lime pie or a banana pudding or a blackberry ginger, and just they open their eyes and look by, they go, wow, that's not what I thought it was. That's really good. And I didn't expect I would like a popsicle, but actually I'm coming back for a second one here in about 10 minutes.
Tell us about these flavors, Matt, because they're unique.
They are, yeah. It's handmade, hand poured. We have a facility in Mobile, Alabama that make them for us. We've got your simple flavors. We've got your blue raspberries. We've got your pink lemonade, your fruit punches, what you would consider the kid-friendly flavors. But then key lime pie, which our founder, Cliff Kennedy, said that's the one that made him want to buy the franchise, which I agree. That's one of the better ones we have. There's graham cracker into the popsicle. So you get the whole flavors of the key lime plus the crust and with the graham cracker. And we've got that, banana pudding, a blackberry ginger lemonade, just unique flavors that kind of hit kids and adults. You've got something for everybody that can make an event just more fun.
I'm really going to put you on the spot now. Let's see how creative you are. So if you got to create that represented Mississippi, what would it be? What would you call it?
It's got to have something with sweet tea in it. So, which we actually did test, kind of an Arnold Palmer types, which I really loved actually. So we got something got like a little, maybe a peach tea or some kind of sweet tea, or a little Arnold Palmer or something like that.
We'll see if you make the list.
Yeah,
with Cliff.
I know, right?
I don't know. He's consulting you. And actually, fun fact, I'm shameless with numbers, so I kind of like things like this. Did you know how the first popsicle was created?
Don't think I do.
Trivia time. Actually, it was an accident. And the reason they call it pop, because what happened was it was in 1905, and a 11-year-old named Frank froze the soda pop.
Okay, there you go.
There you go. And later in life, in 1924, got patent. So there it is. You have it here. It was an amazing accident.
It was.
And that's why they call them pop.
Come a long way since that.
It was soda pop.
And in the moment, his parents were not happy about the mess.
Yeah, I was going to say that you can picture that not going well somewhere in there, but near here or there. So different concept as far as mobile.
Mm-hmm.
And for those entertaining a mobile concept, what is the thing that you like most about it that surprised you?
I think just the versatility of being mobile, to where brick and mortar is great and we did well with that, but just you can do so many different things with a mobile unit. I just did a cross country meet to where they have never done concessions before for this high school state championship cross country meet, to where there's so many things you can tap into, totally new revenue streams and new events that maybe they haven't had the ability. Another great thing with my truck is it's battery powered. So I don't even need a generator. I don't need a plug in. We've got a built-in a battery system that I can go park in a field and sell for 10 hours and not need anything.
For those who haven't seen your trucks, they look fun. Correct me if I'm wrong. You call them
sweet rides. They are tie-dye color.
I love that. Coming from an 80s girl, I like it.
And it's fun. And the kids love like walking up in the truck. It's got the popsicles on the truck and it's fun. It's got some LED lights on it. And our menu, which is I think is really great, is we have magnets for our menu items. One good thing is we have flavors that rotate through. So if they change a new event, I'm just going out and putting the magnets up on the board with whatever I have that day, and it's really easy.
Sometimes I hear stuff like that and I'm like, man, they thought of it all.
Yeah.
And like, talk about the benefits of being in franchising.
You've got those things in place, and the truck was already built, and we just buy it and get going and go through the tools that are already there.
Beep, here's your
Yeah.
truck.
Then you go out and grow it yourself. That's really the legwork, is building, like I said, the brand awareness and letting you know that you exist. And once you do that, the response has been great. Customers and events, and one event leads to 2 other events from somebody that was there. Oh, I've got this school or this church or this party. So it's really dominoes from there, to where one event leads to potentially other events that other people have that came and got a popsicle that were really wowed by it. That
And as a mom of young kids myself, I can speak very confidently to what Matt is saying, that they're at school events, birthday parties, church, and then your biggest advocate is the
yes,
kids.
especially people not knowing the brand, not knowing what we are. The kid's always going to gravitate to it. And then they bring the parents, and the parents look, and that's been the most fun, I think, is then, like I said, that where they decide, oh, this is not just your normal grocery store flavors, and then they try something and then they're hooked on it too. And it usually goes pretty well after that. They've been happy with it once they give it a shot.
Yes, my husband has never bought the kids popsicles without grabbing one for
Absolutely.
himself.
Yeah.
So
You got to
I
get one for
confirm what Matt
yourself
is
too,
saying.
right? Yeah.
And forgive the naivety of the question. Would this be a seasonal business or?
Yes and no. I think there are definitely some places that, living in Mississippi, I can go more 12 months than somebody that's in Wisconsin or Massachusetts or something like that. But yeah, I have events with sports and things like that that are going through into November, and you definitely do better in July than you would in October, November because of the heat. But I think it definitely depends on where you are with how long you can go with it. But having the indoor and the wholesale really changes the game with that, to where there are other revenue streams that are not solely based on you sitting outside selling.
And that's one of the things that is so unique. And I would imagine people don't know right away when they're first hearing about the brand is I'll see them in like small restaurants or something like that. You've got different ways that they can be sold.
Yeah.
Matt, and you seem like a pretty savvy businessman. So I think you probably did a little research on
I did.
your next
Yeah.
adventure. I did a little initial myself, and I was godsmacked at the market that there is. Gourmet
Yeah.
pops and popsicles in the United States as of 2024, $8.7 billion industry.
Just for gourmet.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it is.
And so I bet you already knew that.
I definitely did some research. There's so many franchise brands, and yeah, I read the trade magazines, Nature's Restaurant News, Fast Cow, all those things. I've always kept up with that, and just was fishing until I found one that I really felt checked all our boxes. And this really was it. The simplicity of it. When we applied, Cliff would send us a sample box, and because I never had them before, I never really heard of it. I was going out on a limb there, not knowing the brand itself, just looking at the concept and what I found. And then once I made contact and started talking to them and meeting the people, then that's when I knew that this was the right fit. Like I said, I'd never had the product because there's nothing around me. It all clicked and said, all right, this is what we're going for. So it's something that the whole family can do, and it checked all the boxes.
I like that aspect. So I do have a question, Matt. Obviously, you make something, you make it what it's going to
Yeah.
be, right? So however much time you put in probably equates what you get back. So recognize that fully. And there's capability to do anything. But since you've got so much experience in the brick and mortar, and you referenced you were in the kitchens when you went to visit your grandparents, you grew up in that. So you're very aware that lots of times when you're owning those brick and mortars, you're in them, your family's
Sure.
in them, you're spending a lot of your time in them. Based on what you shared, I'm guessing this was appealing to you because it didn't require that time constraint necessarily. But if for someone just looking to get into franchising, is this a great option to start with? Or if you've got something else going on, like what sort of
I think
feedback
it's
or
both.
recommendations
I
would you
mean,
give in
I
that
think we
aspect?
have a lot of franchisees that don't have any kind of background, that are teachers or have other positions that you are not food related at all, and they're doing well in it. And there are some that are doing this as a side hustle, so to speak, where they have full-time jobs and they're doing this on the weekends, or their kids are helping. So I think it checks both of those boxes, to where maybe you start out doing it on the side and maybe that's becomes a full-time thing. So I think you can do it both ways. And there are people that are doing it that way, to where it's not a full-time thing. They're working it and along with something else, and you can still do well with it.
I like that it gives you exactly that flexibility that Matt was talking about. You know how when you're starting something new, you kind of want to ease in sometimes, right? You're not ready to just quit your job today.
Right.
You want a little bit of a transition. And this this is a really friendly way to do that, but then grow it as big as you want
Yeah,
to.
definitely. It is definitely a good model for that. It's the simplicity of it. And it's all event based. If you have something a weekend and maybe you can't take an event that weekend, but you have total control over what you're doing, where in the restaurants, they control you sometimes. So it's always something going on where with this, there's total flexibility. And I've been doing it full time. So most weekends I've had something, but I've done that by choice though, where you can take it and make it whatever you want it to be.
Yeah, and you're not probably having to deal with employees. I don't mean that in a
Yes.
negative
Yeah.
way. We're not coming in or recruiting
Yeah,
you.
going from a business with over 400 employees to what I have now is a drastic change.
So what he's saying is, Matt, you fire yourself, but you always hire yourself back.
Something that, yes.
We've learned a lot about mobile franchises, and I think it's a lot of it. We talked about like the ease of being able to get into it, as far as the barrier of
Yeah, for
entrance
sure. I mean,
and the curve of learning.
the cost to get in with this were very reasonable. You buy the territory. The truck's the biggest expense. You can choose to have the mobile carts, but not everybody has the mobile carts, and you can make it what you want and then place to store it if you've got room for that. We did buy a little warehouse and got 4 freezers, some signage. I'm good to go. It's pretty simple, where obviously a restaurant is a multi-million-dollar process, and this is the simplicity and the cost. It was appealing.
Now, we're not going to volunteer you, but if the listeners are in the Jackson metro area and want to see that sweet ride out there,
I just love that name.
and then hook a person up, and my sample one.
Yeah, no, we're
Get it out there. Because now, do we get our sample box?
I mean,
She
I'll
doesn't share well, by the way.
Yeah.
Right. So only 2 boxes.
We'll work on that.
So,
man.
in these different businesses and different things, what experience or wisdom are you bringing to this new adventure? I know you're like in your first year in it, but this wisdom's coming forward and you're going, okay, I know X, KPIs, cash flow. These are my you have some wisdom.
Yeah.
How is that serving you?
It's been good. This is obviously much simpler. I would spend every Monday in the restaurant going through food cost reports, theoretical reports, checking counts, and obviously those things, I don't have that, which is fine with me, which has been good because there's a lot that goes into that. But then just the operations side and really just the marketing and building a brand. Because with the Nuke's Eatery going into Alabama, I mean, I spent so much time with that. I'm joined a lot of Chamber of Commerce, which I'm a big fan of. Just getting involved with Chamber, going to events, meeting people that way has been really helpful. And just getting involved in the communities. And it's different here because I live in this community and I'm from here, where with the other brands, there were new markets and new places I didn't know as well. You know, being where I live, knowing people, and you take the low-hanging fruit for people that you know that have events, and then you can get started that way. So that's been nice to be able to kickstart and have events with people that you know that you can trust and will trust you to give a chance with you on an event type thing. But really, it's just being able to grow a business from what I've done in the past. And things have gone well for the first couple months.
We'll have to check with you in a year and see some news stories that you might have. Hey, I'm picturing at a wedding too. That would be interesting.
Yes.
Yeah, I've got a mobile cart, which has like a whole white kind of covering, so I can set up and make it look really fancy.
Yeah.
Look at me marketing and helping here. I'm being creative, Matt. You're
There you
witnessing
go.
it right now.
Matt, I've heard you referencing, without saying it, that one of the shifts that you've had since the restaurant industry into Frios Pops, now you have time. And it doesn't sound like you've had a lot of that before. So I'm interested, how has your vision of success changed, or what you're looking for maybe out of business or for that business to give you now? Because you're at a different stage.
Yeah, I mean, time flexibility has been a big deal. With the restaurants, we had 14 restaurants in 3 different states. So there's a lot of back and forth. It's always a problem. And you don't get phone calls for positive things. You always get phone calls for problems. That was the world I lived in. And just the time aspect has been the biggest thing. With kids that are getting older and we're busy with events, and on the side, I coach a high school golf team just for fun. Having the ability to do other things and still do well. And it's definitely changed the way my day flows, but it's all been very positive. And having complete control of your schedule has really been the biggest change.
Because a lot of people get into business for themselves to have more time and money freedoms, and they realize they have less time.
It
and
can
money
be very
freedoms.
consuming, sure, yeah.
We always like to share nuggets for entrepreneurs that are either thinking about it on the fence or kind of in those first throes of it, if you will. You've had a couple of rodeos. So what wisdom could you share with them? Something that you go, yeah, man, I wish someone would tell me that in my first year.
I think you just don't be intimidated by it. I think it can be an overwhelming thing going starting something totally new, even though franchisees have a model there. There's a lot that goes into it that maybe if you've never done before. It's all new, and it can be an intimidating thing to wrap your head around all the different pieces of buying the equipment, setting up, learning POS, learning P&Ls, all these things that maybe you haven't done before. Just don't be scared. Don't be intimidated. You can do it. You can learn how to do these things. It's not anything that you should be scared or overwhelmed by. But I do think that's something that could be a negative to where people say, oh, I don't know if I can do that, or it seems like it's overwhelming or too much. And it's really not as bad as you might think it is. It's just getting in and just jumping in and just doing it and going for it. And it usually works out after that, I think.
Sounds like marriage. It won't be as bad as you think. But I appreciate you sharing that, because sometimes it is overwhelming, or the financial commitment,
Yeah.
time, or jumping into something you're not familiar with. And it's a different mindset working for yourself.
Yeah, it is for sure. There's a lot of change and a lot of flexibility and a lot of time, but there's also, you control everything. So it doesn't get done. If you don't do it, maybe it may not get done. So there's responsibility there too.
Yeah, when you take that long lunch, the only person you're really taking advantage of is yourself.
Exactly.
First of all, thank you for taking time and sharing your story, generational story, I should say, and being an inspiration and wisdom and sharing kind of things with our listeners. Is there anything else you want to close out with today?
Yeah, I think if anybody looking in franchising, I think if you're looking to own your own business, there are so many different models and businesses and areas, whether it be food. It doesn't have to be food. Food is probably the one that you think of the most, but there are health clinics, tire shops, cleaning companies. There's all kind of franchises that if you want to own your own business and whatever it is, this is a way to do it. And I'm sure there are thousands of franchise brands out there that you can find something that fits your interest and what you're good at and what you enjoy. And I think if you're looking to do that, there's probably a franchise out there for you too.
Absolutely. But if you are in the Metro Jackson area, please go check out Frios Gourmet Pops and tell them we sent you.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Appreciate you,
thanks.
Mike. Thanks for visiting with us
Mike.
today. Elizabeth, do you know that when you're launching a franchise, one of the biggest expense and biggest risks typically is the build out?
I can see this.
With missed deadlines, overrunning budgets and stuff like that, they can increase anywhere between 10 and 25% of unexpected expenses.
No good.
That's where Build USA comes in. Everything from pre-construction to the grand opening, they're with you every step of the way to make sure those things don't happen.
Yeah. And they've got over 25 years of experience in building franchises nationally. So when you've got that much on the line, why would you trust it to anyone other than someone who's got the right team who can get it done?
Mm-hmm.
They've got the reputation, the proven expertise, and the national resources.
So if you're ready to get your doors open faster with no unexpected surprises, go to buildpointusa.com or click in the show notes below to schedule your 30-minute discovery call with one of their experts about your project.
It's a generous offer.
It kind of is. So again, buildpointusa.com. Check them out.
We'll see you in the next episode.